Now, I've been wanting to do this video for quite a while now because, we done this for so many other models in Quikkatsu, and I want to kind of dedicate some time to do it to Blue. So, that's exactly what this is. This is essentially a character analysis on Blue as well as a model review. So, this is how it's gonna go. When it comes to Blue Izonia, pretty much she is a middle-class girl who pretty much plays guitar, bass guitar mainly, but plays guitar nonetheless, and pretty much tries to play on the street for a change and spare money, and pretty much just do everything that she can to do so she can have some money in her pocket, because you're a middle ass class lady that don't have a lot. So it is what it is. She also has like 3 other friends that she also plays the band with in the streets, and they also have a kick-ass time together. And the thing is, every time Blue plays and they make money, oftentimes her parents will come through and pretty much yank any type of change and coinage that she earned and pretty much use it for their own use, which led Blue and her friends to pretty much just run away from their respective homes because all their life situations is bad. And so they decide to just again run away and rebel against life and how it is for them. So in the rebellion for Blue, and essentially to get her own independence, she decided to make a few adjustments to her body, which is why she has her nipples pierced, and it's why she has the choker on her neck, because she wants to be defiant, rebel against society in a way that it doesn't necessarily like her. So if you can't accept her, she'll just continue walking on in her own weird way. And that's pretty much the whole main normal backstory when it comes to Blue. Now, if you want the real life backstory, which I've already explained in a video before, but I'll briefly explain it here. Essentially, Blue came to me into a dream, like a whole real deal dream, and the same 4 friends was there as well. And so when it comes down to things, I was pretty much at the park, I think, and pretty much was just hearing some band playing, and then that's where Blue and them came in. And they didn't necessarily like me listening to them at first, but I was just sitting down, being patient, being silent, just wanting to hear them play. And they played fairly well. And so after a long period of time pretty much has passed, probably knew them for a while now, I ended up kind of getting close to Blue and kind of understanding her just a little bit more than I did. And so essentially, when it comes down to things, I figure out that this entire thing was a dream, and I'm about to start waking up for real. And I'm just like, all right, well, it was fun and nice to meet you, Blue. So hopefully we get to see you again someday. And so as I'm about to shake this girl's hand, because this is how Blue is, this is why she's weird, she ends up going to trying to shake my hand, but she moves her hands to like the left or something, and then shakes the hands with the air for whatever reason. But and that's when I woke up, and that's why Blue is even here. It's because of that one weird dream, and because of that weird situation, I decided to give Blue an actual identity and give her an actual body and an actual purpose, because I didn't want to just forget the dream that I had. I actually did like Blue, so I wanted to see more. And that's pretty much how that goes, and that's pretty much the real life backstory of why Blue is even a thing. So yeah, Blue's a weirdo. Blue's straight up a weirdo. Let's not even cap. There's even a story which is specifically and only on Twitter, where essentially Blue is messing around with Amber and Lamine and basically strips them down in a freaking school hallway, and Blue practically dances her way back to the student council office to get me. So that's essentially how Blue is. She doesn't just normally sneak around and walk around. No, she danced her way back to the office. What insane person dances their way nakedly to the office of the student council president? It makes no sense, but then again, it's Blue, so it makes all the sense in the world. So if Blue does something weird or does something random or something that you didn't really expect her to do, it's just Blue being Blue. That's essentially what it is. And as far as her, friends go, who knows where they are right now. They probably are still in the dream world, which, where Blue came from, and maybe that might have a significant part of the story. But essentially, I haven't thought that far yet, much less I haven't began to draw their designs yet, even though I have an idea what their designs look like. But it is what it is, and we'll get to that whenever we cross that bridge, if we cross that bridge. Anyway, when it comes to the story sense of things, obviously we know Blue came from the dream world after, Jay got pretty much used by Junko, even though it was his dumbass plan. So bravo, you got pretty much clapped by Junko yourself when you try to clap her. So essentially Blue was in the dreams of Jay, and then Jay finally, at some point in the later future episode, pretty much just kind of snapped out of control with the despair within him, and Blue was able to come through and calm him down. And that's pretty much where Blue come from, and Kodako and everybody's trying to figure out where she is and who she is and where she come from and all this type of stuff. And it's a really interesting adventure. Again, I won't go over it every day because I really would like it if you watch the story yourself. But again, just a quick little rundown of where Blue came in from the story, who she is, and the real life significance of Blue. And that's pretty much what I wanted to kind of cover. By far, in my thinking right now, with her abilities, which is to reject and release, I honestly want to make Blue possibly the most broken character in the story, just based on those two abilities. Again, I have absolutely no idea how I'm gonna kind of go about it, but we're gonna figure it out. I mean, you did see what Shoko can do. Shoko is a girl who I'm not gonna necessarily get into in this video, but has indomitability. Basically, she's strong as hell, and you ain't gonna be able to beat her, even though Mario whooped her ass, but with ease. But still, Mario is a rare case, which I will explain later, and why Mario was able to pull that type of nonsense. But when it comes to Shoko, with her indomitability, she was able to just will someone from doing one thing and just going her way that she commanded them to do. As for example, Maki, who was just blatantly following Junko's will and brainwashed by Junko, Shoko just pretty much commanded Maki to stop, and she did, and she just went back to normal. So yeah, Shoko can definitely impose her will on someone else, and then that's just how it is. But for Blue, it's a little bit more different. You see, with Blue, the way it kind of has to happen, and the main thing about her abilities, is that it links to one thing, and one thing in particular, and that's her imagination. Really, if you think about the words release and you think about the word reject, you can kind of push that to any type of thing, into even ridiculous categories if you want to. So when Blue says, reject or release, it can go into anything that she would like to, do with it. And there's a positive and negative effect to one of the abilities, and the other ability is like a negative effect, and one ability is like a positive effect. It is how it is. And when it comes down to things, Blue has to also be very careful, because there's some things that she may not be able to do with it, or maybe do something on accident, and it might not be necessarily great things for everybody. For Blue to use those abilities, she also has to use her imagination, as well as to have the willpower to go ahead and do it. Even if she says reject and wants to push something back and says it just because she wants to, she might not necessarily be in the mood or have the heart to reject something and push it back, and it still might get her. So that's like one of the major things that really has to depend on Blue. And Blue is not necessarily a super emotion like person. Like, yeah, she'll get angry, and yeah, she'll cry and get sad and be happy at times, but she's not necessarily overly emotional. And it really comes down to how she's gonna handle it in the story, which is why, yes, she does have some of the most broken abilities possibly in the entire story, but it all depends on how she kind of controls her emotions and her imagination. If she can't think she can't do it, if she can't necessarily believe she can't do something, then most likely it's gonna bite her in the backside, and in the worst possible way. Much less if she don't think she has the will to do it, then that's also gonna bite her in the back in possibly the worst possible way. So there is some danger within that ability if you don't believe in yourself. So that's pretty much how that's gonna go. But overall, Blue is definitely possibly one of the most broken characters within the story. Maybe quite next to Ajamu herself. Then obviously her outfits. So far, I think I only have 3. If I do have an extra one, then I will show. But she has her dreamwear, she has her combat ready outfit, and she has her despair outfit as well. Well, even though it's more like a joking kind of an outfit, but still nonetheless, it's like a basically princess of despair kind of outfit, essentially. Since considering that she was born from it via, coming to the world that Jay has created, which is the safe haven. So, that's also a thing. So Blue Izonia is by far one of my favorite characters that I ever got the chance to make, much less she's a character that I have a really deep interest in and I really want to craft and develop into an even better character as time goes on. And that goes for any of the future characters as well as we continue going through this entire story. Now for some basic information, and this is the last information for her. Basically, Blue's age is about 16 years old, even though, again, age doesn't necessarily matter in a realm of fiction. So within the safe haven, it really doesn't necessarily matter at all. And also her weight is about 145 kilograms. Kilograms? Pounds. Let's go with pounds. Anyway, she's about 145 pounds. And essentially, she is kind of tall. She's kind of tall. She's almost as tall as me. So she's about 5'10". She's a tall lady. She's kind of tall, but not too tall. So, that's kind of like a good thing. But still, nonetheless, Blue is kind of tall. But yeah, she's 5'10". Now, there are some things that Blue likes, which is obviously Jay, obviously her guitar, and her quiet time, which is essentially when Blue is just pretty much alone and likes to be, not near people, or at least just near Jay, and then that's about it. And that's really all that Blue truthfully in depth really likes. Unless we're talking about like food, then she likes bittersweet candy, and that's pretty much how that is. When it comes to dislikes, obviously, she hates anything that's trying to kill Jay, much less she doesn't necessarily like her parents, much less she doesn't like to be controlled, or she doesn't necessarily like being around other people. Even though with all this stuff being said about Blue being somewhat of a rebel and being having some of the most overpowered moves in, the entire show, and her skill set is probably wild, that doesn't necessarily change the fact that Blue is an innocent, pure, and sweet ass lady. And yes, while she doesn't necessarily like being around people, if you really try to get to know her, and if you really mean to be her friend, then there's a good possibility she'll try to cling on to you and be around you a little bit more. But if you treat her poorly, then, you're gonna face some rejection. And I don't mean that in just like a heartbreak, I mean that like your body might get broken in half. So, you might want to watch out for that. But definitely, when it comes down to things, that's what I wanted to talk about when it comes to Blue. And hopefully you did enjoy this one. Yes, this is a different type of video than I normally kind of somewhat do with these models, but that's because I know these characters. Why? Because I designed them, and I'm the original creator, so of course I'm going to have a lot to say when it comes to them. And yeah, pretty much that is going to be how that's going to go. So next time we'll probably talk about Shoko, and then maybe Miss Saratome next time afterwards, because I have honestly nothing going for Miss Saratome, so maybe we'll figure something out when it comes to her. But definitely we'll see what happens with Shoko next time. But hopefully you did enjoy the Blue Izonia review, and hopefully you had a good time. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification else. Also follow me on Twitter, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Patreon is available as well as having Koikatsu commissions that you can look on Twitter and pretty much hit me up in the DMs, and we're gonna get something going with that if you'd like to see some wallpaper work done. And yeah, pretty much that's gonna be it. And until then, it's your boy Jay, sign off. Have a blessed day.